Today we will be seeing the last two portions of Naswarupiya Vijnana Adhyaya, which is Shakha Varga and Aushadha Varga. There is also involvement of Phala Varga in this class. So we'll be seeing what are the important Shakha Varga which has been told by Ashtanga and which are the important Phala Vargas that has been told by Ashtanga. And we'll also put a light on the Aushadha Vargas, which is explained very detailed in this chapter. So to start with the Shakha Varga, we all know that Shakha Vargas are those things which are usually used as green leafy vegetables. So these vegetables are mainly uh, we use it as a on a daily basis along with the food items. These are not actually the medicaments what we are talking about over here in the category of Shakha Varga. Rather than we will be morely concentrating on the food items which are benefited in the terms of medicines also, because here we are giving more importance to the rest of the food while we are consuming it, but we will be also seeing that what this food is actually causing in our body. Like for example, we know that patha, which is actually very commonly used vegetables, but this patha is also having some effect on the doshas, like it mitigates all the doshas. So knowingly or unknowingly, whatever vegetables we are taking, that also has some role to play in our doshic uh, manifestation or doshic uh, levels of doshas. So we will be seeing all these things in this chapter or this portion. So to start with Shakha Varga, there are lots of Shakha Vargas explained in this chapter. Some of the main Shakhas what we know over here is Patha, Shati, Shusha, then Sunishna, then Satinaja. So these all shakhas, these all vegetables or green leaf vegetables, they mitigate all the three doshas and are easily digestible and grahi in nature. Now the term grahi, what we want to understand is that it helps in reabsorption of fluid from the defective matter, or whatever waste products that is being created. There will be excessive availability of fluids in that. This helps in making those fluids reabsorb, or making the fecus having a good constitution. Like it won't be making you to have loose bowels, it will help you to have smooth bowels which are bit dry in nature. So that is the meaning by grahi. So whenever we advise the patient to take these shakhas, or whenever we are advising the patient to have leafy vegetables, we must understand that that is going to make some amount of dryness in the fecal defect of the patient. Okay, and if we specifically take about two shakhas from this, one is Sunishna and other is Rajakshwa. Both these drugs acts as a appetizer, Agni Vardhakar, or it improves your Agni, or it improves your appetite. At the same time, it acts as a Vrishyakrit. Vrishyakrit means it has helps as an aphrodisiac, so it improves the sexual power of the patient. Okay, and in these two, even though these both drugs, both Sunishna and Rajakshwa act as a Agnikrit and Vrishyakrit, Rajakshwa is param, or Rajakshwa does it better than Sunishna. Or if you are advising the patient to take Rajakshwa on a day-to-day basis, it improves his appetite as well as sexual vigor in a very good manner. Okay. Along with that, it also cures Grahanya Arsho Vikaragnam, or it helps in curing diseases pertaining to duodenum and also arshas. Arshas means hemorrhoids or piles or whatever it is, that is called as arshas. Aghnam means it cures or it reduces. So this Sunishna and Rajakshwa also, along with improving the Agni and act as a Vrishya, it also cures Grahani and Arsha. And if we take one more drug which is called as Vastukam, it helps in with Varchobhedi. Varchobhedi means it breaks down the fecus, or it makes the fecus more brittle, or more, what you say, broken into small pieces, or it further purifies the fecus. So that is, if there is a constipative nature in the patient, it's better to give him vastukam, which helps in making the fecus bit light and bit easy to expel. Okay, so these are some of the benefits of some shakhas. There are many shakhas told. So another important medicaments or the food what is used in our day-to-day life is kakamachi. This kakamachi benefits is that it is used as a aushadhi also in many places, but as a food it mitigates all the three doshas. Okay, that is why it's called as handi tradosha. It means it mitigates all the three doshas, and it also helps in relieving the kushta, or it reduces or cures the skin disease as a food, and it is aphrodisiac in nature. And Soshnam. Soshnam means hot in potency, and it is a rasayani or rejuvenator and causes easy movement of the fetus, and it is also sodium. Sodium means it is good for the voice. Means if some of you are interested in like making your voice smooth and good, pleasant to hear it, Kakamachi is the drug what you had to advise to the patient. Okay, and as I told you earlier, there are many shakha vargas are there. So this, if you are able to, what do you say, uh, by heart some of the names of these shakhas and some of the properties of it, that is more than enough for now, because you will be having a very detailed explanation of these things when you are studying the Dravyaguna Vijnaniya. So for this purpose, about Ashtanga sake, we will be just seeing the names of some of the Shakha Vargas. They are Patola, Saptala, Arishta, Sringeshta, Avalguja, Amrita, Vetra, Brihati, Vasa, Kultila, Tilaparnika, Mandokaparni, Karkota, Karavela, Parpata, then Nandi Kalya, Nadi Kalya, Gojihwa, Vartaka, Vanatiktaka, Tarira, Kulaka, Nandi, or it is also called as Jaya, Kuchalika, so it is Kuchaila, then Sakulandini, then Katila, Kebuka, Koshtaka, and Karkasha. So these are the name of some of the Shakha Vargas. So in general, what you have to understand is that most of the Shakha Vargas will be having Shita Virya. I have seen the example of Kakamachi, which is Ushna Virya. Other than that, most of these green leafy vegetables will be Shita Virya. They will be having Pitta Rasa and Katu Vipaka. So they also help in the movement of fluids in the body. Means it helps in easy expulsion of the fluids. It helps in lubrication of the internal vessels, and it helps in increasing the vata, or it increases the vata at the same time. It mitigates kapha and pitta. So these are the shakha vargas which are generally used in our kitchen. So many of these things are not used nowadays because of our recent urbanization. It is most of them are unavailable, but still, if you are able to find some of these things in your parental home and all, it will be good to have an exercise on finding out which is the shakhas what you are using on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so let's look at some other things. These are not used as a vegetables or what do you say, eatable, but these are mainly found in our day-to-day activity. One is tulsi and next one is ardrika. Ardrika is nothing but it is coriander leaf. We all use it in our what is it, making of sabji or whatever it is. So let's see the quality of both these things, because tulsi everybody talks a lot about it. So it is mandatory that we should know what the qualities of the tulsi is. So tulsi is hitma, kasa, visha, shwasa, uh, then parshvaruk, puti gandhahnam, surasam, sumukho, nati vidahi, karashopaha. So this tells that Tulasi, the other name of Tulasi is Surasa. So this Surasa causes or removes hitma. Hitma is hiccups. So if you have a problem of hiccups, the Tulasi will help in removing it. It also helps in removing the kasa or cough. Visha detoxifies you. Then Shwasa, breathing problems or what do you say, asthmatic issues. Then Parshvaruk removes the pain in your flanks or in your sides. Puti Gandaha. So if you have foul smell from the mouth, Tulsi helps in removing it. Sumukha. Sumukha means it helps you in having a good, what do you say, good pleasant smell from your mouth. Nati Vidahi. It does not cause us too much of burning sensation, because most of you might have seen eaten tulsi leaves and you see know that it has some amount of burning sensation but not causes too much burning sensation in you when you take it. And it also causes garashofaham. So it removes Garavisha. Garavisha means acquired toxicity. And Shophaham. Shophaham means any kinds of toxinous or any swelling or all those things. That also is removed by administration of Tulsi or taking Tulsi on a daily basis. Okay. So these are the qualities of Tulsi. Excuse me. Other than that, next is Ardrika. Ardrika Tikta Madhuram Mutralam Nacha Pittakrit. So this Ardrika or coriander is that it is having Tikta and Madhura Rasa. It causes some amount of bitterness, and at the same time it can also have some amount of sweetness in it. It causes Mutrala. Mutrala means if you take coriander a lot, it causes a lot of micturition. And Nacha Pittakrit, it does not increases Pitta. So if you take what do you say, coriander, you must understand that it is not going to cause the increase in Pitta. Okay. Next is Lashuna. Lashuna is nothing but garlic. Garlic is also, you know, that used in kitchen for a lot of purpose. So this is having a penetrating nature. Penetrating means it is Tikshna in nature. It enters into the deep tissues. It is having Ushnavirya. It is having Tiktarasa and Katuvipaka. It helps in makes the bowels to move very quickly, or it helps in expulsion of the bowels very quickly. Good for heart or for mind, and hay is hard to digest. It is aphrodisiac. Here the aphrodisiac is only for women, not for men. As per some studies, it has been seen that Lashuna is not aphrodisiac for males, it is aphrodisiac for females. Okay. It is anxious, improves the taste and digestion, helps in reunion of features, gives strength, or I think it is fractures, helps in reunion of fractures and helps in providing strength. So these are the qualities of Lashuna. Other than that, it generally or it greatly vitiates the blood and pitta. If you take excessive Lashuna, it is going to vitiate the pitta, and in a byproduct of that, it is also going to vitiate the blood. Okay? So many people say that take Lashuna or take garlic for purification of blood, but understand that it is not going to purify your blood. Rather, excessive taking of Lashuna may cause a problem for the blood. Okay, but it helps in curing some skin diseases like leukoderma and other skin diseases. Helps in curing abdominal tumor. Mainly, it is good for gastritis and all those things. It is used in hemorrhoids, diabetic wounds, disease caused by kapha and vata, hiccups, chronic nasal catheter, asthma and cough. In all these things, it helps as a good remedy for if you take Lashuna, and it is a general body rejuvenator or a cyanide nature. Okay, so these are the qualities of Lashuna. Let's move to the next criteria, which is Phalavarga. In Phalavarga, mainly there are many phalas or many fruits told. Phalavarga means fruits. Out of that, we'll mainly seeing the qualities of Draksha and as well as Dadima. Okay, Draksha, you know, it is grapes. So grapes is a considered as best fruits, and of course, it is aphrodisiac in nature. It is rejuvenator. It is good for the eyes. Helps in elimination of urine and feces. It is sweet in taste, and it is sweet in the end part of digestion also. Here, end part of digestion means vipaka is also madura and rasa is also madura. It is unctuous, slightly astringent, cold potency. It is hard to digest. It cures diseases of Vata and Pitta and Rakta, better taste in mouth, but it also causes intoxication in the body. Okay? And helps in removal of it. Intoxication, thirst, cough, fever, respiratory conditions, hoarseness, injury to lungs, and chronic respiratory diseases can be cured. But if you eat grapes which is kept for fermentation, that can cause intoxication. Okay? These are the qualities of Draksha. Let's see for Dadima what it is. Dadima is nothing but pomegranate. It mitigates generally increased pitta, but in particular than other doshas. This means that it mitigates all the three doshas, but increased pitta or pitta vardhana. If the pitta is aggravated, Dadima helps as a very good drug for it. Other than that, it also helps in mitigating kapha and vata also, but pitta it reduces very quickly or very effectively. Okay, both it is what do you say, madhura and rasa, and having some amount of amlata also in it, and does not going to increase pitta. Even though amlata is present, usually amla dravyas used to increase pitta, but this drug is not going to increase the pitta. Okay, it is not very hot in potency, means even though it is having ushnavirya, it is not that severe ushnavirya. You can say that it is neither cold nor hot. Okay, mitigates kapha and vata. It helps in subsiding kapha and vata also, but mainly pitta. And all varieties of pomegranate, there are many multiple varieties, and but if you take all varieties, it is good for heart. Okay, it's easily digestible, it is anxious, it is eliminates the fluids, or it helps in removal of the waste materials and stimulate appetite and digestion. So it is a, what you say, improves as a, it causes acts as appetizer, and at the same time it also helps us to deepen apachaniya dravyas. Okay, so these are qualities of dadima, which is the next fruit. Other than that, there are many other fruits. This is our local fruits which has been told in Ashtanga, not those imported fruits and all. So we have to find out the gunas and all those things of all those newly arrived fruits, like what you say, dragon fruit and all those things. But these are the fruits which are present in our local what do you say, garden or something like that. Okay, so one among that is mocha. Mocha is plantain, which is a variety of banana. Kharjura, dates. Panasa, jackfruit. Nalikera, coconut. Pushkara is a tree. It's called, it's a very famous tree. It's not Pushkara, it is Parushaka. Amritaka. These things are, I don't know how to explain these things. You can Google it to see the pictures of it, because most of these things are extinct by now. Then Tala, Kashmiria, Rajanda, then Madhuka, Badara, Ankola, then Falgu, Sleshmantaka, Vatma, Abhishuka, Akshoda, Mulaka, sorry, it is Mukulaka, Nikochaka, Urumanam, and Priyala. So mainly we will only use up to this. All the other things are, I don't think we are using it as a fruit in nowadays. So what it generally causes is that it all causes stoutness of the body, or it increases your body bulk, make you some amount of obese if you have it in a repeated daily usage. Not easily digestible. It is cold in potency, means shita. It relieves the burning sensation, or if at all there is any burning sensation, it helps in removal of it. It causes injury to the lungs, conception, conception, bleeding conditions, sweet in taste, and also at the end of digestion, means both rasa and vipaka both are what is it, madhura. Is anxious, stay long in the stomach. It does not get expelled very quickly. It stays very long in the stomach without any digestion, and it increases kapha and semen. These are the qualities of fruits in general. Okay, if you are able to by heart the names of some of these fruits, that's more than enough, because usually these things from shakha varga, and shakha varga may be sometimes asked, but phala varga I have not seen. In for the exam purpose of you, they have never asked, but for the knowledge purpose you can always study this. Okay, then coming to varjya means those things which you should not take. So they are given a very clear explanation that we have studied Shukadanya, Shimbidanya, all those things, but there are some things which we should not take. We don't know many of the things which is grown in the wild or something like that, which we are not supposed to take. They have explained that also. So the varjas, if you want to take, we can understand that grains which are being spoiled by forest, heavy breeze, hot sunlight, polluted air, saliva of snake or other reptiles which are infested by worms which have remained underwater for a long time, not grown in the field meant for it, like which is a cultivable field, it is not grown over there, like which is grown in smashana and all those things which should not be taken, which are unseasonal, mixed with other grains, and have lost their properties, having become very old, should be rejected. Whatever it is, whether it is Shimbidanya, whether it is Shukadanya, whether it is Phalavarga, whether it is Shatavarga, Mamsa, or whatever it is, if it is possessing all these qualities, if it is been seen in some problem like this, it should be rejected. Similarly, also the vegetables and dishes prepared from them without adding materials like oil or ghee, which are very hard even after cooking, should also be avoided. Like if it is not properly cooked, that things also should not be taken by the person. and even tender vegetables which are not developed their normal taste and which have become dry and not to be used except this one, ama bilwa. Ama bilwa is unripened bilwa fruit. Other than that, all other what do you say, all other fruits or vegetables should also, which are in a tender state, should also be avoided or avoided. Okay, now let's go to the next portion, which is called as aushadha varga. So these things what we have discussed till now were used in our day-to-day activities as a vegetables or something food items, because this chapter itself is Annaswarubhya, but in our food also there are some medicines what we use in our day-to-day activities. So that is being told over here. So out of that, first is salts. You know that salt are our food, but it is also a medicine. Okay, so out of that, first one is lavana. So in generally, if we talk about, there are many lavanas told in Ashtanga, but generally if you see the lavanas, it is Vishyanti lavanam sarvam sukshmam sushtamalam mriduhu vadaknam paki tikshnoshnam rojanam kapapittakrit. So in generally, lavanas are Vishyanti in nature. This Vishyanti means it produces severe secretion in your mouth. You might be knowing that if you are taking salt, it make your mouth full of water, right? In your saliva will be filled in your mouth. That is called as Vishyanti. And lavanam means salt. Sarvam sukshmam, all kinds of lavana are sukshma or very minute in nature, or very, it possess the quality of entering your microchannels. Srishtamalam means it helps in easy or smooth movement of mala, and it is mrudu. It causes madla also, it causes mrudu or soft. Vadatna means it mitigate the vata or subsides vata. Paki means it improves your digestion or helps in your appetite. Tikshnoshnam, it is hot in what do you say, it is tikshna in nature, or it is having very penetrating capacity, and it is at the same time ushna in its virya. Okay, Rochanam means it improves your taste. Kapha pitta krut, it causes kapha and pitta. If you take excessive lavana, it can increase your pitta and kapha in the body. Okay, now let's see individual lavana in detail. So first one is Saindhava lavana. Saindhava lavana is our common table salt. So Saindhavam tatra saswadu vrishyam hridyam tridoshnanut laghu anushnam disham pathyam vidyat agni deepanam. So this is Swaswadu. Swaswadu means it is lightly sweet in nature. Even though salty in nature, it also has a mild amount of sweetness in it. It is Vrishyam. Vrishyam means it is aphrodisiac. It improves your sexual vigor. Hridyam means it helps in your cardiac activity. It protects your heart. Tridoshna, it mitigates all the three doshas. Laghu Anushnam, it is light in nature. And Anushna, it is not too much of hot in potency, mild hot potency. Drishyam, it is good for your eyes. And Pathyam, it is considered as Pathyam or wholesome for the body or good for the body. Vidyat Agni Deepanam, it also improves the digestive power in the body. This is the quality of Saindhava Lavana. This is the first Lavana what you have to understand. Next is Savarcha Lavana. Savarcha Lavana, we'll just go for the meaning because it is taking too much time. Savarcha Lavana is easy digestible. It is good for heart, possesses good smell, purifies your belching, whatever sour belching or foul belching you have, it purifies that. It is pungent at the end of the digestion. It relieves the constipation. It kindles the digestion and gives good taste to the body. This is the quality of Savarcha Lavana, which is the next Lavana. And there is something called as Bida Lavana. Bida Lavana possesses both upward and downward movement of kapha and vata. It also kindles the digestion, cures constipation, flutterness, obstruction of flatus, and colic heaviness of the abdomen, or it causes colic pain if you take, relieves the colic pain or cures the colic pain or indigestion and all those things if you take it. And Samudra Lavana is common salt. It is also Swadu in nature. At the end of the digestion means Vipaka is Swadu. It is not easily digestible and it aggravates the kapha. This is the third Lavana. Bida Lavana is the third one, and this is the fourth one, Samudra Lavana. Okay. So other than this, we have some more. The next one or the fifth one is Audhita Lavana. So Audbhida is Satikta Katukshara Tishna Mukte the Chaudbhidam. So it is slightly bitter in taste, or it is Tikta Rasa, and it is pungent also, which Katu also, and Shara Rasa also. Shara means it is alkaline, or some taste of vinegary will be also there in the Audbhida Lavana. It is also Tikshna, it penetrates very deep, and it causes increase in your secretions. So its salivation will be increased, or other secretions from the body, sweating also will be increased if you take Audbhida Lavana. So this is the fifth Lavana what you have to understood. And sixth one is Krishna Lavana. Krishna Lavana has a property similar to that of Savarchala, except the smell. Savarchala Lavana is having some good odor, but here Krishna Lavana don't have that odor, but it also have all the qualities same to that of what do you say, Savarchala Lavana. Next, seventh variety is Romaka Lavana. Romaka Lavana is the Lavana which is brought from Rome. That is why the name Romaka Lavana came. Only thing is that Romakam Laghuhu. It is very easy to digest. So that is Romaka Lavana. And eighth one is Pamsuda Lavana. Pamsuda Lavana is slightly alkaline in nature. It increases the kapha and not easily digestible. Okay. So these are the 8 kinds of Lavana which has been told by Ashtangakara. So please, it is very important. Please study the gunas of all these Lavana individually. That is very much important. Usually it comes as a 5 marks question. And whenever somebody is referring to only the thing called as Lavana, you must understand that Lavana is Saindhava. Even though Lavana is the term used for all the salt, but in general, if they are not specified which Lavana to be used, then we have to use Saindhava Lavana as the medicine. Okay. Next thing is Yavatshara. Yavatshara means it is a shara prepared from a drug called Yava. Okay, barley. When you burn barley and take the ash, and that ash is mixed with the water, and that water is filtered, again it is mixed. So like that, what alkaline substance is prepared from that ash of Yava or ash of barley is called as Yavatshara. So the qualities of this Yavatshara is that it helps in mitigating the tumor, or it reduces the tumor, diseases of heart, duodenal diseases, anemia, splenic disorders, distension of abdomen, diseases of the throat, asthma, hemorrhoids, and cough arising from kapha. All these things can be mitigated if you advise this Yavatshara to the patient. Okay. Generally, other chara, there are many other charas. Not Yavatshara is one among them. There are many other chara like Sarjit chara, many other things are there. So qualities of all these chara, if you take together, it is having tikshnada or penetrating nature, is Ushnavirya, Krumitaja. It destroys the worm, or destroy the worms, or kills the worms. It is Laghu, or easily digestible. Then Pitta Slup Darshana, it vitiates the blood as well as the Pitta, and it is Paki, helps in digestion, causes wound healing. And Chedana means it helps in curing or removal of hard mass, or breaking down of hard mass. Ahridya, it is not good for heart. So hence Lavana or alkaline products is not consumed on a daily basis. It's not good for heart, and punctures the tissue, or it destroys the tissues also. And being pungent and slightly salty and tasty is not good for semen also. So this reduces the quality of semen, and it can also destroy your ojas, hair, and eye vision also. So this is why alkaline substance should not be taken on a daily basis. So that can cause severe harm, but there are some benefits also of alkaline substance, so it should be taken judiciously. Okay. Now next one is Hingu. Hingu is, you know that it is acetophyta. So this is also used in cooking, and it helps in mitigating of kapha and vata, cures digestion and abdomen and colic pain. It aggravates pitta. It is pungent in taste, and the vipaka is also pungent, or katu vipaka. It enhances the taste of the food, or your taste perception also increases. It causes improves your hunger and digestion, and it is easily digestible. These are the qualities of Hingu. Okay, and with this we will conclude this session of Annasuryapi Vijnaniya. We'll be coming with the next session, continuation of Aushadha Varga in the next video. Thank you very much.